Just because we gave you our money doesn't mean.
Hi,
I'm Casey. Nice to meet you.
Angel, I'm Randy.
Hi, Randy.
And
Hi, Andy.
my name's Randy too.
Randy.
That was my name. I was Randy too.
Hi, Randy. Yeah, so this, come on over and grab a seat. I'm going to introduce Wes.
It's funny.
Yeah.
We'll get started. Come find a chair. Anywhere. Oh, I didn't get you, Craig. So welcome, men that I love. Whew. Thanks for taking time out for yourselves. I just wanted to tell you how much I love you, and I've looked over the list many times and just sat with how grateful I am that you would choose you for a few hours. In my personal awakening, it was a tough realization 5 or 6 years ago to realize how I had given everything of myself to other people, to my spouse, to my children, to my jobs, and there was very little left. I also hated men at that time and took a lot of that. It was called projection, thinking that things were taken from me. I have 5 sons and I had a husband. I mean, it was all men's fault, you know? That I was worn out and tired and drained and everybody took advantage of me and there was nothing left. And in my great awakening, one of the things that seeking to understand the divine feminine and connect with my goddess energy led me on a path to see, appreciate, respect, and admire the divine masculine energy in each of you and the divine feminine in each of you, the yin and the yang energy that each of us hold. And through that process was led to meet Eric and to have a whole new experience with what relationships could be like, what men are really about. So I just wanted to honor you. I want you to know how much my heart wants to be a part of creating opportunities for you to just be you here. In this moment, it's just about you. It's not about any job you have or title or relationship or responsibilities. You are here to feed your soul. And I'm so grateful because you're worth it. Every one of you is such a powerful force in my personal life and in the experiences that we've had one-on-one. And I see the ripples that you make in the world constantly. I mean, every single one of you, I could go down the line and say how I know who you've touched because it comes back. And West is that way. We haven't spent a lot of time together, but I've had plenty of conversations with people who have been touched by him. And then listened to his podcast interview on 7 Elements recently and got to hear his story. And that's when I had been wondering, how do I gather my guy friends back? Some of us have done men's group and things in the past and just wanted to have a reunion or get back together and connect, and this felt right. And so I'm so grateful, Wes, that you would open up your home and your heart to these special, amazing, strong, loving, brilliant men. So I would love to turn the time over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodness. Get my microphone on here where I can kind of get up here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get my horse and get in my office because I'll feel a lot more comfortable if I'm sitting in my office chair than up here where I've got to try to keep an eye on you. If I was a horse, I could do that. Right? You can see out the sides, right? All right, let's do that. Before, though, introduce my lovely, I don't know if you guys know, I'll share. Some of us guys, I'll talk to me, have been blessed and lucky enough that I got my own personal freaking angel to be with me down here on this life and go through this world and all the things that are going on. I got a real life angel camouflaged as my wife to hang out and be with me. So anyway, this is my wife, Cammie, who I love and adore, and we've had quite the journey together. We've been together for over 35 years. Yeah, wow. Yeah, remember your junior year in high school? Who remembers their junior year in high school? Let's go to like May of your junior. Like, well, that's next month.
Okay, well, don't do this.
Let's go to May of your junior year, right? It's almost summertime. What do you do in May of your junior year of high school?
I know.
Yeah, you're ditching high school, right? You're just out, man. Summertime's coming. Work. She and I got married. May of our junior year of high school. Wow. I don't recommend that. We somehow made it through. Somehow. I don't know that that's the way to start.
I'm going to say she's a hell of a woman.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
Totally.
I went through some of the same things.
I agree.
dating men, even though I was married to one.
Yeah. So if you do get to talk to my wife at all, or if she's sharing anything, I've heard her say that I'm her fourth husband, but she's never been divorced. And so let that just kind of resonate and let that see what that means to you. And I think that's the only way we've kind of made it through, is being very open to finding our way to be open to change and change together. So, all right. Oh, restrooms. If you need a bathroom in the house, Cammie will kind of take you in and go. And we're all guys here. If you want to just go open that green gate and step behind the red trailer over there, just go do that. I'm totally cool with that.
You can too, Angel, if you really want.
If you want a guy moment.
Me too. I'm a guy.
Well, what the ladies do, you just go in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you need the restroom, she can take you in the house and just show you that way. But we've got coffee, some hot water, some tea, something that way if you feel like you want to get up and grab something. But kind of what we're going to happen here, I'm going to be in there talking and kind of sharing some stories, and I want, I'll be asking for some feedback to talk with you guys. So that's just kind of the how things will go. I'll be there, you'll be here. Feel free to stand up, walk around if you get a little cold or you need to stretch or do something. Do your thing. Other than that, I think we're good. Cammie Sue? I did tell them about the restroom, and I gave them permission to go out by the red trailer if they just wanted to go be a guy.
There's a porta potty behind that trailer, but
Yeah. All right, I'll go get a horse and come back and talk to you. Cammie, how about you tell them a story or something? Okay, I feel a little more comfortable now. Now I can sit here and see all of you, and hell, we're even eye to eye at this level. Y'all sitting down, and nice. If you guys want chairs, yeah, heck, come sit down. Well, I did go put my coat on. Said I wasn't going to, but I needed to get a little warm. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I really, seriously, I want to tell you how cool it is that this is all guys. I've never just said specifically, let's just have all guys or anything, but man, I think this is just freaking cool. I really think us guys don't give ourselves enough time and space to just go be around other men and just have things. I don't anyway. I haven't through a lot of my life. I never really hung around guys much. I guess it just didn't happen. I was busy life trying to keep things going. But so anyway, thank you. This feels cool. I want to sit here and just soak it up for a minute and just enjoy seeing this, that we can all be together. A little backstory on me anyway. You heard Cammie and I got married. I was 17, she was 16. Went through a lot of life from there. I was introduced to alcohol at like age 12, 13 in our community. It was kind of a cool thing. I mean, all the adults kind of, you know, got around, had drinks at night, and so it was pretty common for everybody to have alcohol, and I definitely wanted to grow up super fast. I don't ever remember enjoying being a kid. I didn't like being a kid. I didn't want to be a kid. I just wanted to get up, just go do adult things. And so one of the things I could do as an adult, as a 12 or a 13-year-old, was start experimenting with some alcohol. Let's do that. That's what the adults do, so let me see what that is. And so I kind of got started in alcohol young. Definitely had some troubles. Back in the day, if you got caught drinking, it was just like a $50 ticket. You went to the judge and he just give you the ticket and you paid it and it wasn't too big a deal. But if you added up enough of those underage drinking tickets, then you got sentenced. You had to go to some kind of a community rehab, you know, kind of an alcohol class or something. And I went through all of those things and just kept drinking. Anyway, I spent 15 years really struggling or really exploring alcohol. It wasn't until I was 30 before I figured out that I better change what's going on here, because I really believed that I wasn't me without alcohol. I didn't know how to function. I didn't know how to be in public anyway, or be around people. I was just very contingent on that alcohol provided that for me. If I was going to go to a parent-teacher conference or something with my kids, I was the dad that was there smelling like a bottle of whiskey that I thought nobody could smell. You know, I'm sitting down talking to them and just thinking, no, nobody knows. But, you know, after you sober up, you get around and then you're around somebody that's drinking, you realize how obvious that is. You ain't hiding it from nobody. But I didn't know that. So anyway, I struggled with that for a long time until I was in my 30s. And what we're going to kind of talk about today is transformation and changing our beliefs, even changing kind of our personality, changing who we think we are, right? That's changeable. I believed for a long time in my life, with alcohol anyway, and I remember saying this to myself all the time, I was like, well, these are just the cards that I got dealt. I'm just this way. If you don't like it, you know, go to hell. This is just how I am. Like, I didn't believe there was any space for me to make change. I just was whatever I defined myself as, and then I had my stories that went along with that, well, my grandpa was an alcoholic, and on both sides of my family, and their grandfathers or their dads were involved with alcohol, and so I just kind of took that story on that, well, here's mine. And so that worked for me for long enough. But anyway, about 30, I had to figure out something had to change, because I was really killing myself. The alcohol had taken over, and it was absolutely running my life. And anyway, I got to a point where I made some changes and got rid of that, and I won't go into kind of all of that, but it was a hard thing for me to let go of that identity. So I didn't know who I was without it. You know, that defined me. That was how I made myself, how I told myself who I was through that. So going without alcohol, I kind of had to find a new identity. I had to tell a new story. You had to tell something different about, well, damn, if I'm not that, then what am I? And so then I kind of started telling a new story, and I went another 10 or so years really being, well, here's, I wasn't going to say it, but fuck it. I ran out of the bar room and ran into church. And then I spent 10 years just down the rabbit hole of religion. And that was about 15 years ago, but I got out of religion, and I was really, what I was figuring out, I was just trying to figure out, who the hell am I? But I didn't know how to identify that as me as a self. I was always identified of, well, I need some group, or I need some stereotype, or I need some labels to put myself into to know how I fit, or where I was. And so I didn't know how to be myself, be independent. But that's more of the journey that I'm on now, is kind of finding who am I as a person, as a soul, as an individual, as a man, as a husband, as a grandfather, as a dad. And then who am I just as me? Who am I as my own friend? Who am I as my own person? What does that mean to me? And this has been a much funner journey, kind of looking at this as an individual and trying to find who I am. So part of that is when I was 40, so 13 years ago, and remember in 2008 and 09, the housing, how things were going here in St. George back at that. Okay, that guy, right? Oh shit, I remember. Hold up. Everybody else, right? Yeah, okay, that's the time frame I'm referring to, right? I remember at that time, man, if any problems come up, man, all you had to do was throw money at it. And money was frickin' everywhere. I mean, it was just happening. Things were just rocking and rolling. Matter of fact, I bought this house self-employed on a signature loan. And I remember sitting down with the mortgage guy, and he's like, how much money do you make, Wes? Well, how much do I need to make? He told me, and I'm like, well, that's how much I make. Where do I sign? Freak, I can't believe that. It still blows me away. Bought a house on a freaking signature. But then, you know, the bag boy at Smith's was buying houses and flipping them too. I mean, everybody was buying houses. Anyway, I kind of lost everything at that time, as many others, and got out of that business, and I was very lost. Because I spent 25 years kind of going for it, like 25 years of let's make money, let's get some money so we can play, and that'll be happy. I'll be happy if I have some money. I'll be happy if I have a business. You know, I'll be happy if I'm busy all day, right? These were all the things that I kind of was telling myself that I was going to be happy, and where my joy and my peace was going to come from. In my opinion, in my experience then, it was coming from my bank account. That was the only way I could get it. So 25 years of really going for it, and then to have all of that go away for me in about a 30-day period, it went away in a 30-day period. My contracts didn't renew that were needed to that month, and it just started to spiral after that. And anyway, everything got sold to get sold, and the rest got repoed, and then the rest got given away, and the rest got thrown in the trash. Whatever. It all just got gone. And I left here, this house, I left here and loaded my wife and kids up out here in the driveway. I borrowed my grandpa's old Dodge trailer and his old Dodge truck and a horse trailer from a friend of mine, because I didn't have a vehicle. That's a shitty feeling, to be 40 years old and not have a vehicle. Anyway, borrowed a truck, borrowed a trailer, loaded our stuff that was left, and moved up to my my grandfather's house up in Fremont, Utah, where I live now during the summers. But I was kind of so hurt and so lost that I had identified all of myself in my job title, in my business, in my bank account, whatever board of whatever I was sitting on, whatever volunteer group I was a part of. That all was defining who I was. And when all that got taken away, I remember standing right there in that driveway, pulling out of here and holding my wife's hand. I'm thinking to myself, baby, I had more money and more going for me as a 17-year-old in high school than I do today as a freaking 40-year-old standing in this driveway. That scared the hell out of me. That just felt so dumb, so wrong, so not manly. To not know what the hell I was going to be doing with my life at 40. Or I thought I knew, but at 40 I found out it was all fake. It was all bullshit. After 25 years of like, man. So we left here and went to the ranch, moved into my grandpa's house, and I was already at the bottom. It was a very humbling experience to be just that unidentified. Like all of my labels got taken away. I didn't have the right house in the right neighborhood because I couldn't frickin' afford to live here. I didn't have the fancy new 2006 Mega Cab Dodge because this fucking repo guy had it. Yeah, you got it. You know, I didn't have all the things that I identified as my happiness or my joy or my peace. They all got taken away, and so I felt very unidentified. I was like, well, jeez, what am I then if I'm not all of my stuff? If I'm not my things, if I'm not my house and my job title or my business, what's left? What am I? So we get up to the ranch, and we're just kind of regrouping there. My dad, I kind of worked it out with him that I could live there at the ranch house. It's my grandpa's little bachelor house, pretty run down. But anyway, I just needed somewhere to regroup. So we moved in there and got started. And I remember telling my wife, I was like, honey, I'm going to take 5 years off. We're already at 0. Like, we're already here. Like, nothing's happening. I'm going to take 5 years off, and I want to figure out who the hell I am. What am I if I'm not all of those things? And anyway, I went and adopted. I was at a BLM auction where they're auctioning off or adopting out these horses, these wild horses. And I was just kind of hanging out there, and I thought, well, that's interesting. Wild horse. I was so kind of burnt out on business and doing things business-wise. I thought, well, I don't know, what do these horses got? What's going on with these horses? That sounds, maybe I could get a horse and train a horse, and I could go ride a horse in the mountains. That sounds peaceful. That sounds enjoyable. That sounds like purposeful. That sounds more meaningful than trying to secure a freaking contract with a builder to do stuff. And so I went and adopted a wild horse. Much like getting married at 17, I don't recommend doing that either if you don't know anything about horses. But if I look back over my life and the patterns in my life as I get into shit that I know nothing about, and then I just go down the rabbit hole and just bounce off the sides all the way down and just try to figure it out. So I went and adopted this wild horse. Her name's Cassidy. She's still at the ranch. And but I brought her back there, and I thought, you know, I'm going to take 5 years off and figure this horse thing out. Maybe I want to be a horse trainer. What if I could just be a horse trainer for some time? That sounds like a cool job. That sounds like something I'd enjoy. Get to ride horses. Looks like a cool job. I mean, I knew some other guys that were horse trainers, and I kind of looked up to them and thought they were cool guys. Like, wow, it seems peaceful. It seems enjoyable. It seems quiet. So I did. I took 5 years off, and I just hung out with that wild horse in the pen and just tried to figure things out. I learned a lot of things the hard way. That's another learning habit of mine I've noticed, is I'm okay to learn things the hard way sometimes. And I got beat up and kicked around and knocked around by the horses for a number of years, but I kept going at it, and I kept looking for more resources and more information. Who could teach me? Who could tell me something? And, you know, just somebody kind of helped me along. And I ran into some great people that really give me some good guidance. Had a couple of good mentors. Now, one of them is Dr. Stephen Peters. He's a human neurologist, meaning that he understands and he knows human brains. Like, if you've got brain issues, well, he's retired now, but if you did have brain issues and he was still in practice, you'd probably be recommended to him for him to read your brain scan and try to figure out how to help whatever might be going on brain-wise if you had any brain issues. But he loved horses, and he took all of his human knowledge about human brains, and he wanted to understand how horses operated. And he's like, well, how are horses the same, and how are they different from humans? You know, how does their brain function work? And so he got a bunch of horse brains. Apparently you can just buy horse brains, and he started dissecting these horse brains to try to follow the neural pathways in the horse brains to make comparisons to humans. And so as I got talking with him, and he was really working on these horses and trying to figure out the science side of it, he was telling me, he says, West, there's a way that you can create safety inside the horse. If you can get the horse to feel safe on the inside, meaning that the horse can be comfortable being a horse with whatever you're doing, he says that would be a new era or a new way of talking and training horses. Science is, his science work was proving we could do it a different way than the way we've done it for the last couple hundred years, which is usually pretty rough and tough. Just kind of snub them to a post and have grandpa kick you in the ass and put you up on there and just hang on and we'll buck it out and just don't, try not to get hurt because we got a whole day's worth of work ahead and you got to ride that horse, it was just get it done the hard way. And Dr. Peters was explaining to me that there was a way to neurochemically get inside and influence the behavior of the horse to where they would seek calmness themselves. And that really intrigued me. And so this is after I spent about 5 years trying to do it on my own. Dr. Peters was talking to me about this neurochemical, the science side of the horse. And so then I took another 3 to 5 years to figure that out. And then while I was figuring all of that out, kind of had a realization that I don't know that I'm training these horses as much as they might be trying to train me. I think these horses might be trying to teach me how to be a better human. Because the more I understood how they worked on the inside, I was making these connections to how I worked on the inside. Because there was definitely moments that I showed up full of fight, full of fear, full of flight. And that's how these guys operate from the factory. Mother Nature's programmed them to be very skittish, very flighty, very reactive. And the number one answer that these wild horses have for any problem in life is run further, faster, forward. That'll solve everything. And then I got to realizing, well, I'm a lot like that myself. Shit gets a little too bad in my life, I kind of like to run. And then I got looking at how I used to run to alcohol. I was like, yep, I would run right to alcohol for a lot of my stuff. I'd run away from things. So anyway, I got playing around with the horses and have really had some enlightening moments about myself, and that's what I want to share with you here today. And then we're going to grab Cuz right here and we'll talk about him a little bit. But the biggest life lesson that I've learned from the horses so far is this, and this is what I want to, this is the gold nugget, or this is the message of kind of what we'll be working through here for the next hour or so. Horses have experiences and then create their sense of internal safety or fear in the moment, like in the right now. Does that make sense? So this horse right here is in this now moment, and her believability of her being safe is right now. And as things change, that would change. Does that make sense? And then Cuz, he's the same way. His right here, where's he at? What's he closest to? Yeah, the gate. So he's not lying. I'd rather be out of here. Why is she here facing you? Right, her and I, we've kind of got a little thing going on. We got some coaching here. We're trying to have a relationship. We're trying to find safety together. And this is Indy, but Indy has a lot more experiences in life with humans than Cuz does. So his experience right now, he's just creating his safety on what's happening right now, and he'd rather be out that gate. She has more experiences, so she can kind of handle herself a little bit better. So humans, we all tell stories about our experiences. And it's the stories that create our internal safety or fear. That make sense? That's what makes us human, is we tell stories. And you'll hear me talk about that, and I don't mean to make fun of us all, but we frickin' tell stories. That's just how we communicate. It's how we relate everything. We tell stories. These guys just are right now. Just plain and simple, they're just be in this now moment. So, fair enough, does that make sense? And the stories that you tell, right, we're all going to have an experience here today And if we set up and had somebody interview each one of you as you left, you'd all have a slightly different story of this exact same experience. Does that make sense? Because you're going to tell your story based off of your previous stories, about your previous experiences, about your previous stories, about those previous experiences. Where you're sitting right now is just a collection of stories about your experiences. That's what makes us all individual and different. Make sense? And our mind does not like to not have a story. So you don't even have to waste any calories or effort to tell yourself a story. Your mind will put one together for you based off of whatever it did last time to create safety for you. Make sense? Our minds will just tell stories. The magic that I've learned from the horses is that we can pause that and we can start to tell our own story and create our own story. And then when we're consciously writing and creating our story as we have our experiences in life, this is where, for me, the real magic of life comes in. Is being able to tell my story about my experience as I'm having the experience. Or even better than that. Did anybody make it to the TED Talk this weekend? Any of you guys make it here? Yeah? All right, one over there. That was a great experience for me. I told myself the story about how that was going to be every day for 3 months before I had that experience. I was telling myself what that experience was going to be like. I wanted to tell myself a damn good story. Because what my mind wanted to say was, oh shit, cowboy, you're in over your head. You shouldn't have signed up for that. Oh, no, 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 no. You do not know how to go talk in public in front of people. That will be a failure. You'll be embarrassed. People will laugh at you. That's what my mind wanted to say. So I had to just kind of keep this fun story of just like, oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to learn a lot. It's going to be awesome. And I just kind of kept with that. So we're going to practice telling some stories and see how we can take these stories forward and make some changes in our life. Because whatever it is you think about yourself right now, whatever on the negative side, whatever it is, whatever kind of those excuses or kind of the bullshit stories that they run so fast and they run so automatic, if we're not reaching out and grabbing a hold and trying to slow them down to do a little bit of fact checking or just to check in with the story and say, is this really the story I want? If we don't slow that down, it just goes. And every time that story can make a full loop from beginning to end and we don't challenge it or question it or slow it down or fact check it, we'll get a little neurochemical reward. Our internal system will decide that we're safe and say, yep, see? That story ran full cycle. You avoided the thing again. You avoided doing the hard thing. Or you avoided the conversation that you know you need to have. Or you avoided that new thing. Whatever the new thing is you might be thinking about doing. Like for me, having a new thing, a bunch of guys over in my backyard, and for me to talk to them, like, who the fuck wants to hear what I gotta say? I'm just another guy. Right? But here you are. And here I am. I'm just going to do me the best I can and just roll with that. All right, so we're going to get Cuz. Well, let's see. First, we got this thing over here on the ground. What is that? Some tarp. Tyvek house wraps. Anyway, if you're in the construction. It's just a tarp on the ground. Just a tarp on the ground. Has anybody heard of a tarp killing a horse? Yep, it'll make a noise if you walk on it. Yep. No, I've never heard of it either. But there's a whole bunch of horses that think they can. There's a whole bunch of horses out there that think that tarp can kill them. Cuz is one of them. But here's what's really going on for Cuz. Horses trigger off of 3 things: sight, sound, and touch. So to all of us, we have a story that that's a tarp. We all have a story that that tarp has never killed a horse. It'd be damn hard for that tarp to kill a human. It'd probably take several of us to use that tarp to kill somebody. Hey, wait a minute. No, I'm not creating a sign-up sheet. Hang on. It's like I got a shovel. Oh, man. So, right, does that make sense? So this is our story. Horses just have experiences. So let's have a little experience. We're going to take Indy over here. Indy's pretty good at self-regulation. You know what self-regulation means? Or what do you think it means? Throw something at me. Oh, where was that at? Okay. Yeah. Maybe we spike up and like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me just try to just hang right here. What's really happening? Yeah, all right. Just kind of being in with what's happening instead of letting our stories can just ramp us clear out of here. One other little housekeeping note that I'm now being reminded I need to address. I'm totally deaf in my right ear from not drinking alcohol. That's a funny story. Yeah.
All the best stories start with
I have never introed that like that as a keeper. I'm totally deaf in this ear because I quit drinking alcohol. True. So my sober story is, we won't get into that. Can't what? And then not deliver. Oh. Let's try to be quick. We'll try, yes. So I'm the housekeeping item, and then we'll go to the story. So I'm totally deaf in this ear, and I'm over 50, so you guys over 50, you know what happens to whatever hearing you've got left after that. So it's moderate in this ear. But the fun part of my life about that is I can't tell where sound comes from. So when somebody talks, I have no freaking idea. Whether it's over here or over there, or back there. So, when you're talking, if you see the confused look on my face, this is what I do when I get confused and I don't know who's talking. I just like, I'm scanning, and I'm like, oh, okay, that guy right there. Okay, you're talking, got it. And then we had a ventriloquist lady here yesterday, and she fucked with me. She would sit there and look right at me and talk, and nothing was moving. And then I'm like, Allison, it's you, I know it's you. And she could change her voice, and she was at the TED Talk too, messing with me. So anyway, I want to see who's talking, so when you see me looking confused, just help me out and raise your hand up like, hey, I'm talking, because I want to connect with who's talking. Is that fair enough? So you'll see me doing this, or I'm like, oh, who's talking? That's how I'll find that out. So how did I get deaf from not drinking? I went on a hunting trip in Alaska when I was 30 years old, backcountry trip. We flew out in a little bush plane, 300 miles to somewhere. They landed us on a lake, threw our gear out on the side, blow up rafts. Like, they didn't even wait till we pumped the damn things up, and the plane guy left. And I remember it was like, there's not even air in the boat yet. Like, what the hell? The guy left. We were on an unguided, my brother-in-law thought it'd be cool to do an unguided hunting trip in Alaska. And it was, but I didn't really know what that meant, but I found out. So we were on our own. Anyway, shorten the story, my brother had shot a moose a couple of days before, and we were going back in to kind of set up on the gut pile of this moose that we'd harvested to get a wolf or a wolverine or maybe a black bear that was in there feeding on the carcass. That's what our superior human intellect was telling us. And so we got up early in the morning, put our gear on. He had already harvested his moose, so I was carrying the rifle that day, and I had my sidearm on, 40 caliber Glock, and we were going to go sneak into this carcass. I'd marked it with my GPS, so I knew where it was. We were going to go in there and just kind of spend the day hanging out and just see what was around. We hike up there, and we're getting closer, and we kept checking the GPS, 300 feet, 100 feet, 75 feet. We're getting closer, and we're getting quieter, and we get down to about 50 feet, and got my camo hat on, kind of pulled down, and everything's zipped up. I've got the rifle, and he's behind me, and there's some alder bushes that are kind of like 6 feet tallish or so, and we're just kind of walking and kind of looking, and there's these little bear paths, these trails kind of going through, so we're kind of walking on those, and We go from 50 feet down to 30 feet, and I'm looking, I'm like, 30 feet? Like, I'm just trying to look to see something familiar, you know, to see the carcass or, you know, rib cage, something. Like, well, where is it? Like, just 30 feet. We're looking and can't really see anything. The alders are all around. There's a little opening about here to the fence away, and I'm kind of trying to look through there, and out of nowhere I hear my brother-in-law behind me. Oh shit, Grizz. And I'm down here looking in the weeds, and I'm like, oh shit, Grizz. And then I'm like, oh shit, Grizz, oh shit. Like, it like added up. And I like stood back and just kind of stood up. 30 feet, right on that carcass, was this freaking grizzly bear standing up on his back legs, looking over the alders at us, and he's just doing the stare down to me and my brother-in-law who's behind me. And I just look up and I see him and I'm like, oof. The only thing that clicked in my mind was that the outfitter, before they flew us out there, you got to watch this bear defense video of what to do in case a bear attacks. And I'm like thinking it's like watching a driver's ed tape, you know, what to do if you're in an accident thing. I'm like, whatever. And so the only thing I remember from the video was, if you're with somebody, stand next to each other and try to be big, look bigger. So I look up and I see this bear. And you guys ever seen a ranch dog and a cat? When the dog gets the cat pinned somewhere and they're just in that standoff, and the cat's just all puffed up and just sitting there, and the dog's just, but they're just in this stare down, nothing's happening. And then what happens when the cat takes off? Game on, right? Ranch dog is like, yeah, I'm gonna chase you, yeah. As soon as that cat leaves, man, the instincts in that dog triggers and boom, off they go. Well, I was the cat. I'm sitting there looking at that grizzly bear, and he's all just looking at me over the alders. And I go, oh, step back and look big. That's what the video said. I step back next to my brother-in-law, and we just look, and that bear dropped to the ground. I heard his paws hit, just, and he pounded the ground. And then, something I didn't know bears do, but they make a snapping thing with their teeth. They do that when they're sharpening them up and pissed, I guess. I don't know. But they do that. And I heard that. And then I could hear the grunt. And he's freaking running from where he was to where I am. And all I can see is the top of the alders, like the dominoes or a deck of cards, just. And the bushes, I just see the top of the bushes just moving as this freaking sofa is plowing through the bushes, just coming hard. He's cruising along, and I've heard military guys, and I understand it now. I didn't know it at the time, but, well, and I know it now with the horses, but under pressure, you will default to your last known network for safety. Whatever you go to your training, whatever your training is. Well, this freaking redneck had no bear training. So my default network was for safety. I didn't even have that because I didn't train. I froze. My entire fucking system went offline. I froze. Had a rifle in my hand, and I'm sitting like this, and the reality of what's happening, those bushes are just. And that bear comes along. My brother-in-law behind me reaches forward, grabs the sidearm off of my leg, and he drops 12 rounds from a .40 caliber right here at my ear, popping it in the brush at that bear coming at us, until it went out. And about time he fired the last shot, the bear come out of the brush, and we had about here to that fence away of just this little opening. And time stopped. The bear come through. I saw his front paws come up, and he's right there doing this, little beady brown eyes, eye to eye with me, standing right there, and I froze, and time stopped. And all that I could think of, or all that happened in that moment, was I got to feel what it was like to be in a relationship with me and alcohol. I got to feel what my kids felt about me. I got to feel what my wife felt about me. I got to feel what I felt about me at a core level, like the real guy that was buried under all the alcohol. He spoke up and let me know what he felt. And I don't know how long that lasted. It felt like a long damn time. Plenty long enough for me to come up with a thought. And that thought was, I want a do-over. This is dumb. This is the dumbest freaking way I could die. This is not what I want. This is not it. This is not the life. This is not the end. This is not how I want it to be. I want a do-over. That's all I remember thinking. I want a do-over. I remember thinking, this is dumb. And those are the words, like, this is dumb, 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 frickin' dumb. I'm gonna be bear shit. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. Those are my words, and I use them on purpose because that's what I said. It was just so freaking dumb. I wanted to reset. I don't know what really happened, but this is what my eyes saw. And this is the story this is what my eyes saw. In midair, his front feet are off the ground. I just saw his shoulders turn 90 degrees to my right, and his body turned and went in the air that way. His head was still facing this way, and as he's like running off, his body's going this way, and he's looking at me with this confused look. He's like, why am I running this way? But that's what happened. That's what I saw. And so that's the quick way to sobriety for me. That was the last day for me, was that moment was right there. I was like, okay, done with that. I got to do something different. And now I still kind of hold this belief in my mind. If I drink today, that frickin' bear is going to come find me. That's kind of how I roll with that. I've given myself permission to drink again. About 15 years ago, I was like, well, you're a different guy. You could drink again if you want to. You could drink. And I gave myself permission. And I sat with that for a few days. And I was just like, okay, I probably could. I could probably be okay with it. Then I was like, but what if that bear comes back? What if that bear comes back? What if that bear comes back as something else? I don't know. So I've just made a decision. Me and alcohol just can't be friends. It just doesn't work for me. So that's how I lost my hearing when I quit drinking. That was a good lead in. I'm going to use that again. Did that work? That was... So, whew. What's that? Both. It's a good both. Yeah, good hunting story, good sobriety story, the whole thing. All right, let's go play with Cuz here, and let's get. Yeah, he's ready. See, he's like, let's do something. Standing around. Let's talk a little bit about Cuz before we get started. So Cuz is a wild horse, and I've had Cuz for about 5-ish years. I just haven't done much with him because I've just kind of had other life projects and fun things that I've been doing. And so I just recently this year just kind of started playing around with him, and I've been using him to do these demos because he's so edgy. You know, he is not her. She is very self-regulated. He's learning how to self-regulate. So we're going to play with Cuz here a little bit and bring him over to this tarp and let him just kind of have an experience with it, and we'll see what happens from there. But I want us to hold in our minds. Well, I'll ask you this. So to Cuz, that tarp, to horses, everything is a threat until proven otherwise. Right, we've already told the story about the tarp. That tarp hasn't killed any horses ever. I don't think there's any documented cases of it, so it's just, right? But to a horse, everything is a threat until proven otherwise. And there's parts in your autonomic system that as we go through life that show up that same way. It's like, I don't know what it is, it's a threat. I don't know, it's a threat, it's a threat, it's a threat. we'll hold things off until proven otherwise. So as we do that, our internal system gets upregulated. We start to stress and worry, create this anxiety. We start getting cortisol and adrenaline pumping through our system. You guys familiar with cortisol? It's kind of the stress and worry. Adrenaline's the gas, makes things move, get things happening. And then we've got two other neurochemicals, dopamine and serotonin, and that's about as sciencey as I'm going to get. You still with me? That's as far as I could go with my science friend too. I was like, dude, you cannot talk more science words. I'm a 4-word cowboy science guy. Cortisol, adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, that's it. Cortisol and adrenaline is our sympathetic nervous system. That's like the gas pedal. Dopamine and serotonin is the parasympathetic. It's like the brake pedal. So you guys realize that that's how your system works. We can go up, we can come down. We can apply the brake and the gas at the same time. You ever done a burnout in your car? That's how we do it, right? Hold the brake, build that up, right? Unfortunately, that's how a lot of us humans are living our lives. We got the gas pedal mashed, we got the brake mashed, and we're just trying to go through the day without doing a burnout. Oh, a little less, a little more, we're just trying to balance that, but we're really out of balance. So we're gonna have Cuz kind of show us how, as we relax and come back down to safety, right, build this internal safety, and as you can build this internal safety in you, we can engage in some new things, we can learn some new things, we can tell some new stories. That make sense? All right, so this is a horse killing tarp to him. So what might this be in your life? I want you guys to imagine, let's identify this. What's something in your life? It doesn't have to be something that's going to actually like kill you. Maybe it's a new thing that you don't feel as comfortable doing. Maybe it's learning something new. Maybe it's the thought of getting a new job, but you're just super comfortable in the one that you have, but you know you want more. What, I don't know, throw some things. What's coming up? Some ideas. All right, got it. So a new job could be scary as hell. It's like, God, I got to go in and apply. I got to go talk to the guy. And then if they tell me no, I'm going to take it all personal. I'm not good enough. New relationships? Who said that? Where are we at? Right back there. Yeah, new relationship. That'd be scary. How about no job? How about I got to chill out and get rid of a job? That you want that or you already have it?
That'd be so scary right there.
That'd be scary. I've had it a couple of times and it scared the hell out of me. It is. I'm finding comfort in it now. Somehow I freaking just get through the day. I don't know. Awesome. What else we got? What's something else that might feel threatening? What's that?
Back to school.
Going back to school. Yeah. Man, what's that going to be like? Is that going to be worth it in the end? Am I really going to want to do what I'm doing now? Man. All right. Creating a new business. Got this idea, got this thought, but man, am I the guy to do it? Am I good enough? What if I fail? What if somebody else does it?
What about just getting to know myself? Just getting to know myself. Putting all this bullshit, I gotta make money or I gotta do this or I gotta do that, and just sitting with me and learning who I am.
That question's been bouncing around in my skull for about the last 5-ish years really hard. And that's been scary. It's been scary. It was scary for me because when I had all the labels, well, I could tell you who I am. Well, I own this business. Well, I volunteer on this board. Well, I have an office downtown. Right? That's how I was identifying me, was all of these things. So yeah. See how the stories can come up and kind of keep us in check to where we don't go and check those things out.
Too busy checking up the boxes.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so that's the tarp. You guys with me? Y'all got kind of a thing, something you can associate with? Well, if that's the tarp, what's Cuz? We're gonna kind of role play this all out. What's Cuz in all this? Yeah. You are Cuz. Does that make sense? You are Cuz. Now Cuz doesn't have this ego. He doesn't have a storyteller. He doesn't have a way to create a story, to label or define or expect anything. He can't measure time. that all make sense? Cuz is just right now. So as you watch cuz, I want you to see yourself being right now. What would I be like without my bullshit? What would I be like without my story? Or, ooh, can I take this news story? What am I like with this news story? We're going to play back and forth with that. All right. So you guys are the horse. This is your thing. What might this big circle? What could we call this big circle? Yeah. Could this be a circle of life? And here's a moment in that circle of life. All right, I'm with you on that. Then what am I? What did you say over here? The what? The tax man. No, I don't want to be that guy. No. Yeah, the ringleader, kind of in a sense. What I'm going to be to you, we're going to call pressure. But I'm going to say, you guys pick your own descriptive term or word, but I got you now. I got you all saddled up. Gonna put some hobbles on you. Tie your ass to the trailer over there. I'm gonna be, let's just say maybe life force energy, universe, creator, God, whatever label, whatever that is for you. And it's just super easy for me to describe it as just, this is just life happening. Life is pressure. I spent a long time trying to not have pressure in my life, and I figured out that that's just an untruth, to try to have life without pressure. What I'm learning is the better I get at dealing with pressure makes my life better. But pressure doesn't go away. So I'm life pressure, let's just say that, me and Indy. All right? So just to show that this is possible, right, the change is totally possible. Because it wasn't long ago in Indy's mind that this was a horse killing tarp. And there's no way in hell you were going to get her to go engage with that thing. Just like the new thing or whatever the thing is that you've got going on, might seem impossible to get the new job, to start the new business, to find out who you are, to what am I, might seem totally impossible. We'll just ask Indy to come over here. Now let's just walk up here and, ooh, a little bumpy. There we go. Let's go back this way. All right. Now what Indy's going to do right now, you're going to see her kind of take a little breath, and she's going to lick and chew. Like that. You see what happened right there? That's her internal system returning back to safety. Because that was pressure. It was sight, it was sound when she touched it, and then she was touching it. Her internal system upregulated. I don't feel safe, but she can self-regulate, so she was able to do the thing. She got done with the thing, life relaxed, her internal system went back to safety, and they lick and chew. When they lick and chew, they get a dopamine and serotonin release. Dopamine and serotonin are calming neurochemicals. Dopamine's required for learning. So if we're stressed and anxious all the time, you're not having any dopamine or much running through your system, so your ability to learn is severely dampened. But when you can have little experiences and recover back to safety, get this dopamine going. So Indy has had many experiences that she thought she was going to die. It felt like she was going to die on the inside. And then shortly thereafter, that wasn't real. I wasn't really going to die. She can return back to safety. You with me? This is how your neurochemical system works. All right, let's go take a look at what you guys have to say. So here comes life. Life's going along. We're going to come down here, move you along. And you're headed towards the thing, so we'll pause. Well, you didn't risk very much. A couple of 3 steps out of your comfort zone, and then you went right back. So if left all on your own without any of life's pressure or life's struggles, that's what you do. Stay right there in our little comfort zone, whatever that is. But you see how uncomfortable he is? He doesn't feel safe even in the comfort zone, right? His system, he's still anxious. So we need a little life pressure. Life's going to keep doing stuff for us, not to us. So let's just move you along here and see if you can head over to that new thing. So with that much pressure, you got that close. You with me? But life has more in store for you. Life wants you to experience all that you can while you're here. Because all of our days are numbered, we just don't know what number we're on. So let's let life give us another little bump. And as you start going towards your thing, life will just kind of back off and let you have a little experience. Oh. But you just don't want to quite look at your thing. See how easy it is to get distracted? It's like, oh, I thought about starting that new business. Ah, shit though, I don't know, let's go skiing. Let's do something, I don't know. Let's go back, let me go back to the job. Let me go back to work. Let me go back. He wants to be back over here by his comfort zone, even with pressure here. How many of you do that before you do something new? You did not want to be in the bathroom backstage of TEDx. That's no lie though. Your internal system, when you're getting anxious, when you're kicking into fight-flight mode, your body wants to clear things out. You don't want to fight for your life. All stoved up bullshit. You don't want to run for your life either, carrying an extra 15, 20 pounds for the horse. Right? So your biological system knows what the hell it's doing. It's talking to you. Our bodies are how our system talks. All right, we're going to bump a little more pressure, see if we can get you over here to go check out this new thing. No, I'm not the answer. Go check that thing out. No, don't leave. Just go check the thing out. Yeah, walk up there. Walk up there. Let's go check that thing out. Let's go check out this new job. There you go. So you get a little curious? What's the first thing required for behavior change or transformation? Awareness, attention. You have got to put your attention on the thing all the time if you want to make change. So we're going to watch Cuz. Let's watch his attention. When he's attentive to the thing, there won't be any pressure. When he's not attentive, I'll just bump him with a little pressure. So I'll keep bumping a little pressure. As soon as he's kind of attentive, let's go back over, go look at the thing. Pressure. Boy, how bad does he want to go back to his comfort zone? Starting that new job got real big all of a sudden. As soon as it moved, he's like, oh, the hell with that. I got to do my own taxes? I got to do my own stuff? No freaking way. I didn't know it'd be hard. Okay, we got you back over there. You're kind of looking at it. You see what's happening right there? Having a little neurochemical change. And if I can set that up to happen while you're attentive of the thing and you're taking small little steps, you're being attentive and you're working towards it. I want to reward you as many times as I can so that you will want to walk up there and go check that thing out. But your internal system's going to start telling you some bullshit stories. Ah, it'll be too hard. It'll take too long to find the new job. It'll take too long to start my own business. It'll take too long to find that perfect relationship. Just turn around and go back to what you've been doing. Go back to comfort. Life wants more for you. So life will bump you along, and if you'll just take a step, that's it right there. You got 3 feet closer. Let's relax back to safety. So this is where you got to tell the new story. Right? Here's the thing you want to change. Maybe it's I want to quit drinking. Maybe it's I want to quit being lazy. Maybe it's I want to start exercising. Maybe I want to start talking to people and quit being such a recluse. Maybe I want to go back to school and learn something new so that I can do this new thing I want to do. You got to have a great story to get you from where you're at to where that is. Because your old bullshit stories will start firing up as soon as life starts putting pressure on you. That make sense? But if you've got that new story, and you can hold that new story, can you take that new story with you all the way to the new thing? Now, Cuz could just run up there and jump across that thing, but he'd do it with cortisol and adrenaline, which means no learning. What he would learn is how to just run through life and jump over shit or go around it. He wouldn't learn how to relax, find internal safety, start finding out who I really am, and start settling into that, and then go check it out. Because he's going to have to go up and touch that movie scary thing before he's going to be able to be comfortable. So we got a long ways to go, but let's just do a little bump. Life will bump you again. Oh, don't avoid. Nope, don't go back to comfort. Let's go take a look at that scary thing. Ooh. We can avoid stuff in life all we want. We'll just end up back at the same place. Life's going to just keep bumping us until we go take a look. Right there, we're taking a look. Let's just relax a minute and let this neurochemical change happen again. It takes time for us to relax back down to safety when we have these, when our bullshit stories kick up. You see how his story keeps telling him, just leave, just avoid, go around, not today. You can do it next month. Yeah, it's a good idea, but don't bother trying to make it into a business. So life's going to just keep bumping little things here. But when he's attentive towards the thing, we'll relax. We just want to wait and see, whether do you find safety or do you try to find your old story and go back? Let's have a little bump. I just got to get you to be attentive of it. Let's just be attentive of that scary thing. Right there. You know, it's not a bad life example. As soon as we put our awareness on the thing, it might grow 10 times as big as soon as you open the lid and like, what is in there? Like, oh man, I got way more junk in there than I thought I had. There's that little neurochemical change. And the more times we can have this little change of safety and make one little bit of progress forward, another change of safety, a little bit forward, a little safety, a little forward. Just got to start building on that. See how hard he has to hold that new story, that new thing, to try to get himself over there? Now for somebody else, we're going to take a little break right here, because see, that's as real for cuz as whatever your thing is for you. But how many other people in your life can do your thing, whatever the thing is that's got you stuck? How many other people it's not even a thing for? How's that possible? Damn straight. Damn straight. They got their own things. But how much judgment do we put on ourselves and beat ourselves up? But it's real. It feels just like that. Cuz feels on the inside like he's going to frickin' die if he walks over there to that thing. That's how real our beliefs are and how real our stories are. Whatever the thing is that you're wanting to do or to find or discover, or experience or explore, it's your frickin' story that's holding you back. However you come to that realization or what you do about it to change it, I don't know. But what I do know is that when change happens, it'll happen in a moment. In a moment, and it'll happen. I quit drinking in one frickin' moment. But I was under an intense amount of pressure for that one moment. Cuz might need a whole bunch of little moments before he can get up here and have this big transformational moment. So set yourself up for a whole bunch of little moments that lead towards that change, whatever that is. It'll happen in a moment, but it might take 100 moments to get to the one. Or it might take 1,000. It might take 12. How much pressure you put yourself under to get to those moments is how you'll get there. And for Cuz right now, he needs a bunch of little moments. But once I can kind of get him going and teach him that making these little decisions actually feels good, you actually get the dopamine reward after the experience and it feels good, I just start building and building on that. Hell, I'll be able to walk him across that. Be able to walk him into a horse trailer. If he's really good at self-regulation, I can walk him into a grocery store. I can walk him wherever the hell we want to go. We can do that in our lives too. If we're managing the narrative. What story are we letting be told? Because our stories create the neurochemicals. And then the neurochemicals either create the safety or the fear. For those of you that don't know, I got to do a TEDx talk on Thursday night in front of 500 people. What a rush. But like I said earlier, all the bullshit stories that were going on before I went and did that, I wanted to make sure I had my talk, my speech, my delivery, I want to make sure I had it. So I did a bunch of little things, just like this. We're going to kind of pause on that for a minute. And then the wind, it almost snowed. Freaking calling the Chamber of Commerce in the morning. Bullshit. I moved down here to be out of it. No, I'm kidding. But it was a series of little wins that got my TED Talk inside of me, to where it was 100% in me. I started by memorizing. 7-minute talk. Just crunching through it, just reading and memorize, read, memorize, just paragraph after paragraph. One paragraph memorized, now 2, now 3, now 4, now 5, now back to 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to... Just memorize. Just got it in me. And then I put that under pressure. Little bits at a time. Now let me do it without my notes. And then I drew little symbols that would remind me of each page. So this little symbol meant safety and the horse and whatever was on that page. And then I could just look at the symbol and go through the whole page. So then I had like 4 symbols, and I could just look at the symbol, do the page, look at the symbol, do the page. Little bits at a time. And then once I got to where I could memorize it and say it out loud without ever looking at any notes, great. Now what can I do to put that under more pressure? So I went and got in a sauna, 200 degrees, poured 3 ladles of water over the rocks, damn near killed myself, cranked up ZZ Top as loud as I could. And then did my talk in there. And then I'd get lost in the music and I'm oh shit, that's right, I'm doing a talk. And then I'd go back and try to remember where I was. And then I did it in an ice bath. And I did it in a cold shower. Putting myself under pressure, little bits at a time. Right? Did it feel like I was going to die in the sauna? Yeah. It felt like what Cuz feels like about that. I was like, oh, I can't even breathe in here. Kept going through the talk under more and more pressure. I was driving across the Navajo Nation. It was like a freaking 7-hour drive. And for whatever reason, my sweet wife, I told her I'm going to recite my talk as fast as I can for 7 hours. It didn't last for 7 hours. She told me to shut up. No, that's too much. But I was just in speed mode.
That's an exercise on her part.
What?
That's a testament to her.
She's like, this is enough of this. So I just kept putting it under more and more pressure. So as you guys find the things, whatever that is you want to change, where can you win? What's your first level of win? What's the first bit you can get into? Do it. Relax. Okay. Then turn it up a notch. You don't know what you have inside of you until you have it under pressure. And I did not want to walk out on that stage and find out what I had. I wanted to know long before I walked out on that stage. I wanted to know that I could say that talk under any amount of pressure. My final test of my talk was Wednesday morning. The talk's Thursday night. So Wednesday morning was my final test. And I had set it up at my the local jiu-jitsu gym. I've been training jiu-jitsu for 2 years. And I got a couple of my rolling buddies, my training partners, and I said, I want to do this talk while you try to kill me. So for a week and a half, I had 3 guys try to kill me every Monday night, every Tuesday night, every Wednesday night, and every Friday night, and every Saturday morning. Try to kill me while I said my talk. They killed me a lot. It's hard to say your talk when somebody's got you in a freaking rear naked choke and you're... And then I'd just tap and would start again. I'd just keep going and going and going. Wednesday morning was my final test. I had one guy at the gym. The gym was all quiet. And I was like, hey, dude, we're going to go. Probably be 8 minutes. I think that's how long it'll take me to do this talk while I'm fighting you. And we sparred for 8 freaking minutes. And I went all through my talk. All the way through. And I didn't die. And when we got done, and by then he was about to get me, I got done with my talk and then I tapped. I was like, okay, dude, we're done. That was it. I just finished. And he was like, oh, I was just getting going. I was just about to get you. But it felt so good to know that I could be under that level of pressure and that I still had that. And so when it come Thursday night to walk out on that stage, when you put the work in, when you've done the hard work, when you've changed, you've made that thing happen, and you've done it, and you've done it, and you've researched it, and you've explored it, and you've found all the ways you can screw it up and found all the ways you can figure it out, that's a beautiful feeling to know that I got this. And I'll be honest, I'm just barely starting to feel that in my life about who I am. I'm just barely starting to identify with who I really am. Because sitting out here talking to you guys, damn near the same as rolling with that jiu-jitsu guy trying to kill me. This is pressure. You guys are pressure to me. And if I'm not clear on who I am and what I am, this would be a horrifying experience. Especially if I was trying to tell you something that I don't know, or just trying to make some shit up and look good. Right? I'd be scared to death to do that. Guess what I'm saying? The more authentically, great question. The more authentically you can find who you are, the safer you'll feel. Whatever life brings you. Questions? Thoughts for a moment? If that wind will die down a little bit, everybody's nose will quit running? Or is that just mine? What did you see? What did you feel? Part of their autonomic system, science has gone in and they've measured the dopamine receptors, however super smart people measure that stuff, but that licking and chewing is a biological, the horse is transitioning out of sympathetic into parasympathetic, and that shift is beginning into safety. It's the beginning. It's not safety, but it's the route. It's the beginning. It's the first step. I don't know if the physical... Here's what I do know. Our stomach gets turned off when we're stressed and anxious. So if you're experiencing stomach issues in your life, I'd take a look at the stress in your life and try to get that shifted and changed. It's a quick thing that I've noticed. Anything else? Thoughts? What did you see in the horse? What did you see in you? What? Say it.
All of it. Yeah, I've been just to share. I've been hesitating going back to school for the last year and a half. I've approached several times. I get in the habit of studying for what I needed to qualify for the program. But my narrative has always been I'm not smart, like when it comes to book stuff or academics or school. And that's the story I've been telling myself. So my experience when I start to dive into it is like, I can't get all the way to the top to actually get in the program because I've not taken the comfort steps to change my story enough to make the movement.
100%. Humans tell stories about their experiences. And then it's the stories that create our internal safety or fear. Yep. Guess what, though? You just put some awareness on that you might not have had before. And awareness is the first step to the change. So you're right there, man. You're right there. And that's the good news for all of us, is like, where is our awareness? Where's our attention? Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. What is your attention on? Where do you invest your attention? Because that's where your energy's going. Might be why we're all so damn tired, because our attention is in all the wrong things. It takes energy. Well,
One thing that's for me is like, so horse jobs are very present, especially not stuff like that. But even being, and we all work very hard to be present, that's like something we all struggle with. Yeah, even being present, somebody's going to still fairly hard.
yeah. It's still a thing.
Yeah, that was even just oh, even being present doesn't. These big scary things go away.
Right. Right. But if we can be present, then we can try to be okay right here, but knowing the thing is still there. But can I just freaking breathe right here? Yeah. Awesome point. And that's really this whole transformation with him and with us in our stories. The more he can navigate that on his own with his want to, call it want to. We've got to have some want to make the change. If we're trying to do it for somebody else or for some reason that isn't in our core, it's going to be damn difficult. It's going to be damn hard. What else?
It's really interesting, like, even you can just right over the park and it doesn't happen, and you can watch you do it, you really see it's not going to
100%. And that is a big thing to be aware of, because, yeah, I mean, Cuz can sit there and watch that and look at it, but when he's presented with some pressure to go towards it, his internal system says all of the other things. Yeah, that's how we're all just different. What are our beliefs? His internal system's operating differently than hers. You and I could go do some experience and you might be able to do it real easily and I might struggle hard because of my beliefs, my past, my stories. Yeah, great point. Love it, thank you. Anybody else? You get warmer if you talk, just saying. Huh? Yeah, then it gets really hot. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Thought I was having while you're saying that. And it sounds a little bit like as you look at those other people, you know, the big hitters that are doing the things, right, that you're kind of saying about in the business, they might have come about it and done it this way. But what if your approach, the more you find you, maybe your approach is from a whole nother angle over here. You know, maybe you can do the thing, but just do it your own way. Maybe. All I know is the more that you count on you and the more you know you, the more perspective you'll have of how to do that your way. We're all out on a limb in this life. We're all just kind of running and trying to do as much as we can and do the thing. But man, slowing down, finding our own way, finding our own path, our own ground to step on. Man, I'm finding great value in that. I've been 15 years trying to find my own steps. You know, what's my way? What's my way into this horse world? What's my thing? If I'd have stuck with how everybody else was doing it, I damn sure wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I'd be doing what the other guys are doing. And I don't think I'd be liking it. Yeah, not as much as what I'm enjoying doing this. And teaching and sharing of me. So, thank you. Anybody else? Or I think they've got something warm to eat. I don't know what the. Cami Sue, could this be a good time to have something to kind of eat? Do we have something warm to eat, or we do? Yeah, in the barn, or I mean, we're not in the garage. In the house, and we're cool to go in and kind of talk and visit more there because I saw a freaking snowflake come by. I know I did. Yeah, you guys saw it too? Okay. Well, let's do that. 'Cause we can chat over that too. Come here, let's go get. Jeez. I got cold fast.
That did.
I was down there talking. I know I was warmer than everybody, but